House Intelligence Committee, Mike Rogers. You're watching that report.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate? Can you tell us some more on what's going on?
Well, there's a couple of things that have been concerning. We've actually talked about the sheer factor of what kinds and sophisticated weapon systems Syria has, and them not necessarily being in control either leading up to the fall of Assad or subsequent to that fall. And so when you see weapon systems of any type beginning to move around the country in places that don't make sense to its defense, you have to be very, very concerned, mainly because of Iran's involvement in the process of maintaining these weapon systems. Very, very sophisticated, very lethal, dangerous in the wrong hands, and I think it's prudent that these weapon systems not be allowed to fall to folks who have ill intent.
Not be allowed to move to Hezbollah, for example, in Lebanon. I assume when the Israelis launch an airstrike like this against the convoy carrying these kinds of missiles, there's coordination or at least some notification to the U.S. Is that right?
I'm really not in a good position to discuss exactly how those operations are conducted. I can tell you that the United States has an interest in making sure that groups like Hezbollah don't come into possession of sophisticated weapon systems. This is something that we're concerned about. We're going to spend time and energy on, and it's a plan that we have got to put together for these sophisticated conventional weapon systems moving forward, or we're all going to pay a price for
You
this.
think the Iranians, the Syrians, will retaliate against Israel for this airstrike?
I would be surprised if the Syrians decided they wanted to take on the Israelis when they have all of these other problems facing them. Wouldn't be a great strategic decision for them. That doesn't mean they won't do it. I think if they think about it for more than 24 hours, they will opt to try to contain the problems that they have within the borders.
Yeah, I remember when the Israelis knocked out the Syrian nuclear reactor. They didn't do anything about that. They didn't even confirm that the Israelis did it. But let's see, there's a new environment in that region right now. Quickly, before I let you go, North Korea, they're threatening another underground nuclear test. How credible is this threat?
It's very credible. We have seen in the past that they have used this to their political advantage. The Chinese have put pressure on them at the U.S. request. That's a good thing.
To not do it.
However, they're pushing the envelope, and I believe that this is this new young leader who's decided that he needs to show that he's in charge, gain the credibility from the military, and if that means further isolation through a nuclear test, I think he'll do it.
Kim Jong-un, we don't know. One day he invites the leader of Google to come over there to North Korea. The next day he's launching a missile or threatening a nuclear test underground. I don't know which direction he's moving.
I think he believes he needs to consolidate the support of the military infrastructure there.
To prove that he's a hardliner.
To prove that he's a hardliner, a leader, and that he will continue. The only way to do well in that country is being part of the military infrastructure. And so he needs to keep that loyal if he is going to stay in charge. I think what you're seeing is that pressure from the military saying we need to move forward on our nuclear weapons program. You're either with us or against us. This is his time to stand up and say, I'm with the military. I think his tendencies are to try to find something different. We've got to connect to that in some way. Otherwise, we're going to find a nuclear North Korea that is destabilizing to that whole North Korea peninsula.
I'm very worried about that, that Korean peninsula. 1 million North Korean troops along the DMZ, nearly 1 million South Korean troops, 30,000 American troops right in between. This could be hugely dangerous environment.
Very much so.
We'll have you back. There's a lot more I want to talk about. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks, Wolf.
Mike Rogers is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Huge fireworks at the confirmation of